So GitHub Pages is a simple solution to bring your static websites online. You cannot use it for commercial services or serving your SaaS, software as a service, but you can bring your organization or your profile online, and it is disabled by default for every repository. You need to enable it and set it up. And if you are using, for example, something like Vue or React that needs a build step, you can set up GitHub workflow or actions to do that. When you push every time to a specific branch, it will take care of your building step and deploy your React application. So to enable GitHub Pages, you need to come to the settings of your repository and go to the Pages section, and you can configure your deployment for GitHub Pages in two ways. Either you can use GitHub Actions, or you can deploy from a branch. Since this is a simple Jekyll theme and GitHub natively supports that, so I'm fine with deploying with a branch. From a branch, and the root of the repository is the thing that I wanna serve from there. And we're gonna get to custom domain names here. Right now we come to GitHub Pages, opening it in incognito. I would get my page with the github.io domain name. So from here I would need to basically set up a CNAME on my DNS records. But before that, I have my domain registered at Namecheap, but haven't set up name servers. I'm using Cloudflare for DNS record management, so I would need to set up Cloudflare's name servers like the Rose or the other one on my name server. On the domain registry, you would need to do on your own domain register, and from there you would need to customize your CNAME on the DNS records. So let's do it. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is visiting Cloudflare's site dashboard and add my domain name. And free plan for now. So these are the DNS records set by my domain register, and I think I will remove all of it. So here Cloudflare is suggesting to replace my existing name servers with Cloudflare's one. So you would need to do that in your own domain register profile. Alright, we got our domain added to Cloudflare. From here we need to add our DNS records to point to GitHub Pages URL. Your GitHub Pages URL is simply your organization name or your profile username .github.io, and you don't need to put the repository URL or path in the CNAME. We're gonna add a CNAME record, and remember, CNAMEs are about handling domain and not handling URLs or something like that. That part gets handled by GitHub itself. A special CNAME file gets added to your repository, which I think GitHub handles it by that. So all that given, I think I should just be able to see my page. Unfortunately, I can't. Alright, after waiting for a couple of minutes to give GitHub time to check our DNS records, probably update its routing system, because as you remember, DNS CNAME is just alias to domain name. So of course GitHub handles that part of mapping to your repository's GitHub page. And after waiting for a couple of minutes, all that has been completed, I guess, because we can now see our URL. But before we finish this video, I want to show how you can also build a React application or any other workflow other than Jekyll and vanilla index.html to host on GitHub Pages. So first I created my repository, then I'm gonna come to my command line, create a new React application with yarn create React app, and I'm gonna name it React GitHub Pages. And after that finished, I'm gonna push it to GitHub, probably just a little bit modify it to have something other than the default create React app. Alright, as I said, we're gonna use GitHub Actions to automate our deployment to GitHub Pages. You might previously have used GitHub Pages npm package, which you're gonna use it when you wanna deploy it locally. I mean, you're running it locally on your machine, but we're gonna take care of that on the workflow. So this is the default package.json of a Create React app, and it comes with start, build, test scripts, which we're gonna use on our deployments. So I've created my workflow for this, and if you haven't worked with workflows previously, it is, I think, pretty simple, pretty much equivalent to pipelines on GitLab. The on specifies the events that this workflow is gonna run. So I've set to push on branch master and pull requests on branch master, and the jobs specifies the stages of your build. So you might have a build stage, a deployment stage, or a set of other stage depending on your environment and overall programming language that you're using. So the build stage has a set of steps. The first step is checking out to the repository. From there, I set up node by another action, and then npm install, run my test, build my application, and from there I'll upload my artifacts as production files, because I later need to download these artifacts, and this artifact is my build directory. So in the next stage or next step, this is the deployment stage, which I'll download that artifact which I uploaded in the previous stage, and from there I'm using this action, GitHub action, which is actions GitHub Pages, that takes care of uploading my build to GitHub Pages. So the heavy lifting happens here. This GitHub action takes care of the other things. The only thing here is that GitHub token is given with this variable, and this is a special variable because secrets.github token would create a token for this runner running inside the machine. So it would be auto-generated. You don't need to add any SSH key or secret keys to repositories. And I'm specifying that my publish directory is build because, as you recall, in the previous step we downloaded our artifact in the build directory, so it would be serving our static files from there. So this is a custom workflow for a Create React app. You need to customize it, for example, for a Next.js application to follow its build process. For Next.js case, you need to add npm run export after npm run build step, and the deployment process I think would be the same because it gets built in the build directory. So you upload the artifact there and download it in the next stage. And I think this is all of it. Yeah, you can check the repository, of course. I'll put in the link in the description. So deploying this site or any other static generated site like Vue, Nox, Svelte, or any other thing is 100% the same. I mean, the build process is different, the deployment GitHub Actions configuration is different, but setting up the custom domains and the workflow for branch name is same. So as I explained the custom domains for the Jekyll, I think that would be unnecessary to explain for this one. So if you enjoyed this video, please, I'm begging you, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye.